Hello, I'm going to be talking about a by-election and the exploding Hindenburg blimp that is the Labour Party. Now, to start off with, since the name of the constituency glorifying in the title Chesham and Amersham is such a mouthful, from time to time I'm going to call it C and A. Some of you in Germany might smile at that, while others elsewhere in the world might not know that C and A used to be, or C und A, used to be a budget department store chain also in the UK, and it had a good reputation in Germany, a bit down market in the UK, not quite Walgreens, but getting there. And that's a bit of a joke when you know the sort of place that Chesham and Amersham is. I'll post some pics here and say no more. You'll see what I mean. Now, to business. Last week there was a by-election, and C and A is a constituency that's been Conservative well, since God and Noah were discussing the best place for the water feature. The Conservatives should have walked it. They should have stayed in their beds and let the votes just roll in like Biden did. But, well, what do you know? Here's a graph of the results. As you see, the Liberal Democrats got in with a decisively huge victory, and the Conservatives trailed embarrassingly. And then, of course, Labour, Labour, where's Labour? It's somewhere around, down here, below the Greens. Now, first of all, I have to tell you that my respect goes to the people of C and A. You are a great bunch of people. No, I really do mean that, honestly. I'll explain. The people of Chesham and Amersham are pretty much fed up with the Conservatives. They have a lot of bones to pick with the party. First of all, there's something called high-speed rail. This is, as you may imagine, a railway which is intended to link London, Birmingham and Manchester at very high speeds. Championed by the Conservatives. The idea is, well, yeah, it's a good one in theory, and it still might be, but the problem is it runs right through some of the most beautiful countryside in England. You saw the pictures. A lot of people in C and A are not too happy about that, and I can't honestly say I blame them. Then there's the little matter of Brexit, almost alone in England. I'll show you a map, and Chesham and Amersham it's in the light blue area. C and A are Remainers to a man. Well, possibly not to a man, but certainly in a majority. And yet they returned a Conservative in the last general election with a stonking majority. And that's why I admire them. They are everything that British democracy is all about. Many of them had serious issues with the Conservatives. Many of them would have felt during the last general election that to vote Conservative would be to aid Brexit and to seal the fate of their precious countryside under miles of high-speed rail, and yet they voted Conservative as they saw it against their own personal interests because they didn't want to give the dreadful Labour Party the chance of taking over the country. Respect to you, people of Chesham and Amersham, and that's ironic too, because Respect is the name of the political party started and dumped by a political attack dog called George Galloway, who's going to take another North of England constituency from the Labour Party next week in the Batley by-election. I'll deal with that later, don't worry. I'm not going to talk about it in this video. It was just the word respect. It triggered a memory. Back to C&A. So, the people of this constituency, knowing now that Labour don't have a chance, have shown their displeasure with the Conservatives by handing them a message. I am not going to make the hand signal that would let you know what that message is. Boris Johnson said it was disappointing. But, well, he would, wouldn't he? However, he should regard it actually as a helping hand. He can say to his party, or remind his party rather, that they are not assured of their core vote and they need to drop COVID now and get on with some real legislation. And the first thing I shall suggest to you, any Conservatives who might be watching this, start a radical programme of dismantling all those vandalisms to the English common law instituted by those Labour Party thugs the last time they got their sticky little hands on our constitution. And how about ditching the racial and religious hatred law, which has been used by officious bureaucrats and self-important police officers as a stick with which to beat innocent subjects of the Queen for far too long? It's those sorts of things that are going to get you your votes back. Time to get radical. As for the Labour campaign, you wonder what they actually thought they were doing. But then, well, it's probably difficult to make rational decisions while your party is fluttering down to the tarmac in smoking fragments all around you. I'll show you one of the letters the candidate sent out to her prospective constituents. She talks about potholes in Waterside and bus services to Chalfont St Peter, when what they're worried about is unrestricted building on the green belt and railway trains going through their living rooms at 200 miles an hour. She visited a mosque, but not the local Jewish community. At least I didn't see anything of that on her Facebook page. When I saw she'd gone to a mosque, I thought, I wonder if there's a synagogue there. I don't know that there's a synagogue, but there's certainly a community and there's no record of her addressing it. And to cap it all off, well, she really committed suicide there. She got an endorsement from Tony Blair. Now, let's face it. Would you buy a used party from this man? Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Grambo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.